I recognize the member from Timiskaming Cawthron.
Thank you, Speaker. It's always an honor to speak in this House, and today on the motion regarding stopping the House a couple days early and bringing back the House much later than is traditionally the case. I'm going to respond to some of the issues that the House Leader wrote. The Government House Leader pointed out. I agree with a few. And disagree with many.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So it's kind of a poison pill motion with some good things in the middle, which is kind of typical of the way this government operates. But before I get into it, and I don't want to run out of time, I would like to wish everyone whatever. We all work hard during the summer when the House is not sitting. I'm not going to deny that. And I'd like to wish everyone a good time with the little time we all get with our families. I'd like to thank all the staff here for all the incredible work they do. As is my custom, I really like to thank the people in the cafeteria, because this is the only place I eat. And as you can see, I'm pretty well fed. And I'd also like to take this opportunity to publicly thank the Sergeant at Arms. He is retiring, and he has been an excellent person to work with. So, in response to the Government House Leaders thanking us for working with the government, we try. We try to make this legislature work the way it should. And when the government proposes a bill that we can work with, that isn't too egregious, we let debate collapse so it can go to committee. Now, we're not ashamed of that. We try to make the government work. I wish it was the same on the government side. When we propose a bill to take the HST off all food in this province, the government, it wasn't our idea. It's not our idea. We're not going to do it. We try to make the government, we try to work for the people of Ontario. I believe we all try to work for the people of Ontario. But what the government is missing, and we're happy that committees are going to, that's the poison pill, the good part. We don't want committees to stop. So although we oppose this bill, or this motion, because we oppose that the legislature is so curtailed, because the government, that the time we spend here is so curtailed, because for members who haven't been here a long time, this legislature serves an incredibly important purpose, and this government is missing that point. Yes. So this is the only place in Ontario where 124 people from incredibly different backgrounds, from incredibly different places, can bring their viewpoint on the issues of the day. Yep. And this session, we've sat 29 days. 29. And the government wonders why it's so confrontational. Well, it's so confrontational because there is a lot of pent-up anger, and not just among the opposition. There is a lot of pent-up anger among the people of Ontario. Now, the government consults with people who they want to consult with, who support them. But the majority of the government, the majority of the people of Ontario, in fact, didn't support the government. They won the election, and I'm not contesting that. I am not contesting that. But if you look at who voted, how many people voted, and there's a lot of people whose voice isn't heard when the government only sits for 29 days. Now, why the government doesn't like to sit, really, let's put it really simply, And you may disagree, but the government, particularly the Premier, does not like question period. We don't need to go too much farther. They don't like question period. Why? Because in question period, they're often held to account. They don't like being held to account because, I don't know if you remember, Speaker, but this government actually created their own press media studio across the road where no one else is allowed but whoever the government approves. They don't like media scrutiny either. And here is the one place where that scrutiny is possible. So they want to spend as little time in this arena, and that's what this is. It's an arena. It's not really a sport, but this is the citizens' arena. And they want to spend the least time as possible having to defend their actions in this arena, in the arena of Ontario. That is what this whole bill comes down to. Now, the whole motion. The government says, well, we don't want to interfere with municipal elections. This is the government that created unelected regional chairs and gave them strong mayor powers. But they don't want to interfere in municipal elections. Now, you can't have it both ways. Oh, you can. You can be a majority government and do those things and then wonder why the system doesn't work. There's a reason why we have a democratic process and why people are elected. And just because you don't like some of their decisions, why it isn't a good idea to appoint people and give them more power than elected people. There's a reason. And you're trying to do the same thing here. Now, the government House leader said that, the government's put forward some very, I would call it interesting legislation.
Heavy-handed.
And yeah, heavy-handed is good. But a lot of people, and he mentioned 200 billion that they brought in investment, which is great. Kind of, this is something I'm going to bring up for the when the committee meets about the agricultural bill, just as a point of interest. So I believe the Premier today said that he's proud of bringing so much foreign investment in Ontario. Great. Yet, at the same time, the government is putting forward a bill to limit foreign investment in agriculture. So why is foreign investment great for everything else? No. Why is it great for everything else, but we have to worry about farmland? No, it's a question. It's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question, and hopefully this committee will actually delve into that. Because if you really talk about foreign investment in the processing sector in agriculture is just as dangerous if you're going to go down that road. Because if you can't process what you grow, you also can't feed the people. So speaking about feeding the people, and that's a good example of what this government is missing. Remember when you first got elected, you had all those little brass plaques.
Oh my God, yes.
Government for the people. Everybody had a little brass plaque. Oh yeah, the member from Bay of Quinte didn't get his brass plaque. They quit that. That went with the way of the blue license plate, and the brass plaque went about the same time.
Lori has one.
Okay.
They both fell away.
But you all had for the people. But what it should have said is for some of the people. Sometimes.
Very rich people.
You're certainly not for the 85,000 homeless people in this province.
They don't vote.
A number that's doubled since 2022. Now, there could be some and say, well, homeless people, They're people, but they're also there in front of stores. We're in my small town, we're having to lock public spaces because these people are falling through the cracks. And you know what? I fully support police officers. But having more police officers moving these people away so they are at another corner isn't the solution. So perhaps we could have come back sooner and actually talked about real solutions, real programming to actually help. But you're not doing that. And it's not just the NDP who's talking about that. We met with Phenom yesterday. And they're facing they're talking about the same issues. We're having so many people fall through our cracks. You're talking about, your government has never spent more on the healthcare system than you are. I'm not arguing that, but is that money being spent effectively? Or is it lining the pockets of private profiteers? Yes, it is. Yeah, in many cases, yes, it is. And when I hear, private clinics are so great, well, you know what? Private clinics aren't coming to Northern Ontario.
Not the population.
So there's a lot of things that you claim, that Conservatives claim to be effective with financial affairs. You're not. You're not looking for what's actually the most effective way to spend the public dollar. You're looking at what's the most effective way to spend the public dollar to benefit your friends and maybe help Ontario. Yeah. Maybe. And that is the wrong way to do it. And Ontarians are suffering. So if you think that everything's running so well, perhaps you could tell that to the 1 million people in Ontario who are using food banks under your watch. And 1 in 4 have jobs, full-time jobs. So are there things that we should discuss here? Yes. The government House Leader can say it's a very productive session from the government's point of view, but is it a productive session from the people's point of view? Are you actually looking at the issues that are affecting the people of Ontario? All the people of Ontario. I think you would have to agree with me that there are many, many people in this province who don't feel that the government of the day is looking at their situation. Many, many people. People who are employed, people who are employed but still have to go to a food bank. I don't think that they would agree that everything is so rosy. I don't think they would agree. When a person goes to the hospital and waits 33 hours before they're admitted, I don't think that they would agree that the government is doing their job. I don't think they would agree. Now, is it government open for criticism? Yes. Every government's going to get criticized. But should a government actually face the criticism and show up to answer those questions?
Absolutely.
Yes. And our question is, why don't you? Why don't you? Is it great that we can see the Premier's schedule, as the government House Leader said? Great. It's kind of interesting that you've passed legislation that we can't see the decisions made by the Premier or the government, even retroactively. That's the one that hurts the most. Cabinet confidentiality, we get. But retroactive protection of someone's cell phone after he does business, government business, with taxpayers' money on his cell phone, then those records should become the property of the people of Ontario. Because the bills are the property of the people of Ontario. They end up paying the bills, right? But they can't see how the decisions are made. That is an incredible travesty. It is. And this side seems incredibly proud. They did a standing ovation of striking out freedom of information laws. They thought it was just great. They won't think it's so great when the next government repeals it. Because it will come out. It will come out. And if I can give you another little hint of why it will come out, if you will remember, when you were first elected, you struck a special committee. It was effectively a witch hunt. And you were going after the previous Liberal government on the Fair hydro plant. And mark my words, when your reign ends, and it will, and you keep doing things like buying jets and building islands, this next government, regardless of who it is, and I can guarantee if I have anything to do with it, those records will be unearthed. All of them. All of them. All of them. And you can smirk, you can laugh, but that is the way this business works. We are entrusted with the power to invest the people's money. We are entrusted with their health. The government is entrusted with so many things, and you are expected to be accountable for your decisions. And the fact of the matter is, with this motion, it's once again proof that you don't want to be accountable, because this whole thing is about the cabinet, and particularly the Premier does not like question period. That's what this is about. He just doesn't like question period because he does not like being held to account. But at some point, he will be. But something I also like to remind his members, that when the jet was uncovered, what was the Premier's first reaction? The Premier's first reaction wasn't, I goofed on that one, I never should have done that. The Premier's first reaction was, the cabinet. Approved. It was approved unanimously. Everybody was on side. He threw you under the bus.
Under the jet.
He threw you under the bus. And if you think that when your government falls, and it will, if you think that the Premier is going to take the fall for some of you, or any of you, ever, you're sadly mistaken. That's why we are going to vote against this motion, and I hope that you consider as well to vote against this motion, and perhaps tell your House Leader to bring it back and bring us back at a normal time so we can actually have true debate and really help the people of this province. Thank you very much.